in a group, as we already talked about. Yes, he's got himself on. Oh, where's that one going? Well, it's a group, Jim, that effectively there's 5 guys jockeying for 4 spots realistically, and these are 2 of them.
Oh, exactly right. And I mentioned very early at the top of the program that you know, this is the time when all the players are not just watching their matches, they're watching all the players in their groups, because there are so many permutations. And tomorrow will be Judgment Day here in Taipei, and that's when it all comes clear. That's when hearts will be broken. That's when return tickets will be used. Now Marcus, I'm sorry, Nick, Marcus was a little fortunate there. He just could see enough of that one ball, and even more importantly, he had the angle to be able to flick the 2 into the open. So this instantly a game-winning opportunity for Napoleon.
Where does he get that nickname from, Jim? Is it purely his size, or does he have some kind of wants to rule the world complex?
Well, I told him I was going to tease him a little bit about his haircut. There's quite a funny story about this new do that Marcus Chamat is sporting, and I'm going to tell you about it here in a couple of minutes. He's just eyeing up this. The only problem right now is the natural angle is going to take that cue ball into the brown 7. And he's got to make sure he doesn't bump it in such a way to take the position away from the 3. Like that. That was the danger. You see the nod of the head. He knows. That was what he tried to guard against. He was hoping he was going to hit it just a little thinner and get that cue ball out into the open. But Marcus's haircut, he's normally had longer hair than this, and you notice on one side there it's going to be carved up a little closer than on the other side. What happened is he was cutting his hair, and he slipped with the razor and went right up the side. He was telling us the other night, I couldn't stop laughing. So he ended up shaving his whole head.
Well, there's a lesson to be learned there. Pay for a hairdresser. He's paid there as well, hasn't he? A foul shot. So ball in hand goes to Petroni.
Yeah, Marcus won't be happy about that. He had the first chance, the first kick at the cat, and he's turned it right over in the worst possible fashion. And with ball in hand, Fabio with a glorious now gilt-edged opportunity to open accounts here in rack number 1. Still nervy though. These opening racks are never easy. Players try to settle in. That back arm, all the practice has been done leading up to this match, but again, it's never quite the same on the match table as it is the practice table.
Both these fellas in a position that they need to win. Neither is safely through yet, but just slightly more pressure on Petroni. If he loses this one, he'll be on the wrong side of the window that will be closed, and all he'll be able to do is watch the 64 invitees to the party enjoying themselves, and he won't be one of them. So he needs to just make sure that he stays in control of his own destiny here.
Looking pretty smooth right now, just the right side of the 8 to drop onto the 9. Fabio puts the first one into his account. Wing ball, corner pocket. That cue ball is perched over the top corner.
In the opposite corner, that nearly went. Well, I'm not sure what kept it up, but the irony is that black, by the way, has now gone. You see it's just sitting there, but you see the orange is heading down that way. It's going to give it a little kiss, and it is going to go. It's actually, oh no, it's just stayed up, excuse me. But look at this, he's got a lovely shot now on the 1. More by luck than judgment.
Well, the only problem is he can't get the other end of the table to the blue 2, Nick. He's very straight on this one. He doesn't have a full pocket. The brown 7 looks to be guarding the outside of that corner. What can Fabio manufacture from this position? He gets very sweaty, his palms. You'll see him wiping his hand along the side rails a lot. Again, he did it. But that's just the nature of being on center stage. Sweaty palm time, to say the very least. Not one to hide his emotions either.
Isn't this the fella that shed a few tears during a Moscone Cup match?
What an unbelievable shot from Fabio Petroni there. That was virtually straight in. He went cushion first. Another look. Tremendous shot. Spun it right off that side. Sheer brilliance. And again.
Oh, he's getting some work out of this cue ball, isn't he?
A little bit of cue power, doesn't he, Fabio? And from half a chance, now you'd expect him to clear. Boy, what a start. I don't think Marcus Chamat expected him to finish from that visit. Just the position now up to the middle of the table. Green 6, and obviously no danger with the 7.
It's a very encouraging start, this, isn't it, for Petroni? The way he's got mastery of this cue ball at the moment.
And as you alluded to at the top, this is an important match for both these players, jockeying for position in the group. Players always try to get that 4th win. We've had instances in previous World Championships where 4 wins hasn't got you through to the last 64, but they've been few and far between.
Of course, on the other side of the coin, sometimes 3 will get you in, but there's no way you want to rely on that.
Well, there have been more cases where 3 has got you in than 4 hasn't, because it ends up being a game count back, games won and lost. That's a decisive factor, but you get that 4th win and you're virtually assured of playing on past tomorrow. This is a tough 9.
In off the jaw. And he doesn't get the wing ball down. Is anything else going to go? He's out of luck, you know.
Boy, again, you haven't seen many breaks where a ball hasn't been pocketed.
Not only that, Jim, look at the way they're spread all over the table, and he's got a clean look at the 1.
Now, not at all encouraging signs for Marcus Chamat fans. But at the other end of the scale, Fabio Petroni looks to be able to change gears yet again.
Now, he didn't need that. He's got contact with the 9, and he's trying to bring the cue ball back up the table. Instead, it's the 9 that's gone up the table, and the cue has stubbornly stuck itself to that bottom rail. And it's about as far apart from the blue as it's possible to be, without the blue being in the crowd.
Another look at it. Unintended contact on the 9. That's what kept the cue ball at the wrong end of the table. And as I said, Fabio, he's not one to hide his emotions. He lets you know real quick how he feels about that effort.
It's the old story about contact with the cue ball and other balls on the table invariably produces a bad result. There's the proof.
Went for the bank.
And
Banks are open. Here in Taipei, no position to the 3. I thought he'd take that bank shot on only if it offered position to the 3. Risky. And this, unfortunately for Fabio, the rewards aren't going to be immediately forthcoming. Well, hold on. Let me have a look at this. He may be able to play this off the 7 into the side.
Just like that.
There's method in his madness. And now onto the 4. And all the colors nicely into the open.
Well, meanwhile, in the other chair, Marcus Chamat has hardly got started. He's had 2 breaks, one of which were dry. And he's had 2 shots, one of which was a foul. That's it.
Well, again, you've really got to tip your hat to Fabio Petroni. If this is a sign of preparation, he obviously put his practice time in, because he has come out and started this match like a house on fire. With half chances, he has capitalized and matured them into game winners. We saw Marcus come up dry, and Petroni's breaks are acting like trained dogs. Sitting pretty. Chance of a combination here. The 2 onto the 5. Normally, with that much distance between 2 object balls, you wouldn't see him take it on, but he's going to be cueing right at this, so it's going to be right in his line of fire. Be able to look right down the barrel of that 2. He wants to hit this pure, and that way the 2 will hang around the same pocket. Obviously double parked in a little bit of a rush. No bother at all. The 3 at the same end of the table, thankfully for Fabio. And now 1 good positional shot from this red 3 to the pink 4. And the highest hurdle will have been cleared.
Nicely played. Now, what's he got on the pink?
He's just short of ideal position, Nick. Had he been a little lower, a little closer to that brown 7, this would have been straightforward, but now he may have to play that into what we call a blind pocket into the side, where he's going to be looking away from it. Very missable shot. He'd still expect to get it. I wonder if he's even eyeing up that 9, the possible billiard. Play the 4 into the side, cue ball into the 9. The only danger there is if he makes the 4, doesn't make the 9, he may not get position to the 6.
Yeah, carefully and sensibly taking his time. This is the shot of the rack.
Has he left enough for Marcus to be able to pocket that? Doesn't look like it, but he's still not happy. I thought he'd try and cut that right in the side, and elected to try and bank it. but he was taking the cue ball into the tall grass regardless, almost like a shot to nothing.
Well, Marcus must be shaking off the rust as he comes up to the table.
He's really been in terrific form too. A recent winner of a European Tour event. He's got the jump cue out here. I believe it was the Austrian Open that Marcus won. I believe Fabio even played in that event. So he's bringing his top form to the biggest stage in World 9-ball.
Well, can he jumpstart his challenge to this match? Yes, he can. But look at that, the luck is out.
It's just not happening right now for Marcus Chamat. A great effort here, fully deserving of position to the 6, and that 8 bumped right into the clear path. It would have allowed Marcus a view at that 6 ball. Going to be heading over to America at the end of August, playing in a few events over there. He's really started to find his footing in the game of 9-ball now, due more in part probably to he's got a sponsorship package now with Stan James, and he can settle himself in and just concentrate on doing what he does best.
He's not at any point been able to generate any momentum in this match. He's had a dry break, he's had a foul, he's just played a super shot and come up with nothing out of it. It's been a really frustrating evening here in Taipei for the man from Sweden. What can he do here?
Needs a full contact and put some distance between all these, and that won't do the trick.
No, that's trouble with a capital, isn't it?
Not for lack of effort. It was a good contact, but again, he was so unlucky after completing the great jump shot. And to leave himself snookered, it hardly seemed fair. But it never says how, Nick, just who.
Yes, I was flicking through the 9-ball pool rule book, Jim, and I did not find a section marked "luck will even itself out." It just doesn't work that way, does it?
If you're waiting for it to even itself out, better not be holding your breath.
And Fabio taking a good long look at this one, knowing that a 4-0 lead is within his grasp.
Given the lay of the land right now, this is just connect the dots. Dead on shot on the 7, stop the cue ball there. Leaves the easiest of 8s. Oh, my word. Would you believe that?
Well, he's got the cue ball absolutely dead right, because that cue ball stuck the brakes on instantly, and he was so busy getting the cue ball right that he's missed the pot.
That's one of the more astounding misses that I've seen. A player the caliber of a Fabio Petroni just does not miss a ball like that. And he's going to pay the ultimate price, certainly in losing this rack, and only time will tell if Marcus Chamat can string a few together and really burn the memory of that missed 7 into Fabio Petroni.
And look how quickly he moved around the table to clean that little lot up. Chamat's got a chance to drag it back to 3-2, and it's all down to one glaring error from the Italian. And I'll tell you what, if Chamat can apply some pressure here, the Italian is just going to have to sit in that chair and stew on his miss.
Well, this is where you need that mental toughness that we talk about so often, and how the balls can punish you. Marcus has got a shot at the 1, ball down off the break, as you see again. And it looks like he's got a shot to be able to get that cue ball back and attack the 2 if it passes. He's having a look from that side of the table right now. Difficult to tell, Nick, from our overhead perspective, but if that 2 ball passes, might well be stringing another bead across the string for Marcus Chamat.
Yes, if he can get position on that 2 from here, and I think he has, you know, Jim. I think he's just about got that lined up.
Well, we're going to know in a second if it passes.
There's the answer. And we know, because the 2 has slid in past the 4, that the 3 will definitely go.
Well, I'm not too sure, Nick. I've got a feeling he might have been looking at the 3 into the 4 if he'd have stayed low, but no, you're right. That 3 passes, got the bottom half of the pocket. He'll try, I think he wanted to stay right behind it just to make it as easy as possible, but he's got half a pocket here, and for these players, that should be enough. More than enough.
It's amazing how big those gaps become for these fellas sometimes, isn't it?
And now how tough is this on Fabio Petroni? I bet you could probably fry an egg on his forehead right now. And that's not the best shot you're going to see from Marcus. A glimmer of hope. Fabio, has he forgotten that 7? Not likely.
Doesn't look like it, does it? I think if Fabio, excuse me, loses this match, it's a brave person that tries to get an interview or a quote with him afterwards.
We'll be sending you right out for that one.
I'm staying here. Now Marcus has got a little problem here of his own making.
But I like what he's done. He's played a bad shot. Instead of getting down and just letting the cue go, he's taking a little time, regathering himself, focusing, because he's still got a game-winning opportunity. It's just a little tougher path. It's going to require one good shot. With the experience of just backing up and recommitting yourself. Normally pays dividends.
About it has paid a dividend. But those balls at the top there are both on the rail.
Another look. You really got some action into that cue ball, so much so it was spinning off that last cushion, took it down to leave himself straight on the 7. But good thing for Marcus, that 9 is near the corner. He doesn't want to try and cheat this one. better than good shot. Fabio dead.
Here he comes, heading south for that three.
He's just played two superb efforts. Great.
Hewitt's there, wasn't there? Playing to the crowd. And a big come on. He's back. This fella's still alive. Just got to make sure that he holds here and then hope for something on Fabio's rack. Ooh, he's missed the wing ball. Is he going to get anything else? It's not looking good. Not looking good at all.
The second time Marcus has come up dry on the break. You're right, he did lose that cue ball a little bit. Unwanted topspin, but in this particular instance, maybe thankful because it took that cue ball a little further away from the one.
He spread those balls all over the table. If Fabio can nail this one and get himself in position for a clean shot at the two, that may be it for Marcus.
All he wants to do is get that cue ball back towards the middle of the table, that center line, for the gap between the red 3 in the middle and the 9. That looks perfect.
Yeah, it's cleared the 3.
Every chance now for Fabio Petroni to take it home. This is not nearly so much a case of waiting for your ship to come in as deciding to swim out and meet it. He won't get a better chance. Everything in the open. All those hours of practice have prepared him for just this sort of situation.
Well, don't count your chickens with this fella. But as Jim says, really, with the match on the line and a very good chance of reaching the last 64 with a victory here, Petroni's never going to get a better opportunity.
You know something, with that alarm bell having gone off in that one rack where he missed the 7, he may just take that extra few seconds of time when he nears the winning post here and guard against a careless mistake like that.
Just checking out his positional play. Slide the 5 up, make sure that cue ball comes over enough to give him an angle on the 6. Don't think he'll be too unhappy with that. Yeah, he's not rushing this, is he? Just as you said, he's just making sure. The old chalk going furiously. I mean, he's finished balls like this in his sleep 1,000 times, but lapses do get made, as we've seen. He's not going to make another one here.
Very similar to the shot he missed on the 7, just the other side of the table. Tell you what, he pounded that one to the back of the pocket. Took no prisoners there.
And it's a win for the Italian.